I'm not crying, you're crying. All right. All right, so the $1 million question, what am I doing up here? All right, yeah, that's me up there. So I want to get to like how this endowment board kind of like came about, because obviously there's a need, right? And we have a team, an endowment team that was crafted of professionals from our community. Okay, and these are people who are intricately involved in our community, care about the community, know our needs, right? And mashallah are, successful in their own fields, and took time out of their profession and their families to work on this endowment. So this endowment was founded back in 2025. Yeah, it's only a few months ago. But there's a lot of work that went into actually officially establishing it, right? Because we have to sit down and think and strategize. Okay, why would people give to an endowment? Why do we need an endowment? Why would people give? Why would people not give? Okay, what are questions people might have for endowments? Okay, so what are we going to do with this money? How is it going to be managed? All right, so we discussed this over and over again. Over, I'm going to say 6 months, we were just strategizing, right? What to do. So we thought of couple of things that we thought the community really needed for an endowment, okay? And these are 4 things we felt like, if we can accomplish these 4, reach these 4 aspects with the community, we can, inshallah, get the ball rolling, okay? So one of them was, we need to be transparent with the community. You're giving your funds, right? You need to know where they're going, all right? We need to be accountable for those funds, okay? We need to have trust. We need to build trust, right? And obviously, the community needs to know that it is for their own good. It is for the community's well-being, right? For the public good, right? So we had a lot of options for investments, right? We could have bought, let's say, real estate, right? We buy a house and put it up for rent. We could have tried to invest in a store, okay, halal meat store, right? There's a lot of ways to invest, all right? So we, considering transparency, accountability, right? Especially those 2 aspects, we felt like we had to go with something that was more apparent, right? Something that we can report to you more often, and do quarterly reporting, obviously annual reporting, but quarterly reporting, right? So we discussed a lot of options. Then we even thought of like, all right, the best thing for us is to do stocks and equities, all right? And then we were thinking, well, why don't we just invest and buy into an index fund with the money, all right? And then we thought of challenges with that, right? Who's gonna control it? Who's gonna manage it? Who's gonna make these decisions, right? Because I can say, oh, this index fund is the best, that index fund is the best, right? How are we gonna be transparent? How do we convince the community that I won't just take out those funds and, buy a nice Imam Jawad, nice car, right? So all these things went into factoring our decision and how we're gonna manage these funds, okay? So, alhamdulillah, we chose to go with a company called OneWell, okay? OneWell was actually founded by somebody, and this is just like a coincidence, a blessing, you'd say. It's founded by somebody who's a homegrown product, a product of Piscataway, right? All right, he doesn't live in Piscataway anymore, but it doesn't matter, okay? Those of you who are from New York, if I ever ask you where you're from, you guys always say like Brooklyn, even though you live in Piscataway, or Queens, or Jersey City, right? It's because that's your home, you live here. So, OneWell is founded by a brother we all respect, right? And his vision aligned a lot, and his company's vision aligned a lot with our vision, right? Which was these 4 things: transparency, accountability, trust, and the well-being of the community, right? Before I introduce him, I'll give you a little background because he's actually going to explain to you what OneWell does, okay? But OneWell focuses on investing with values, right? Because there's a lot of companies that invest, right? But do we want to support companies that are, buying alcohol, providing weapons to people we don't want to support, right? Zionist companies, right? We just don't want that, right? So we need to find somebody who cares about ethics, right? Who cares about values, who cares about communities, right? And that we trust, and has a system that we can trust, okay? So, it's our brother, okay, he actually went to UPenn, okay, School of Warren. If you don't know, Google it, ChatGPT it. It's one of the top universities in the world. It's actually, I believe, #1 for MBAs, okay. Elon Musk went there, okay, and Warren Buffett, okay. A lot of people don't know that. He was a senior principal at Advent International, which is a private equity firm. He was there for a long time. Then he went to Princeton University to manage their endowment as an investment director. Princeton University has a $36 billion investment. $36 billion, okay? So when we say, One Well and their team is well qualified, alhamdulillah, we did our research, we felt very comfortable. So without further ado, I'm gonna call up the Honorable Brother Amir Mehman.